welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline Lopez, and today we are going to be doing 2 pumpkin DIYs. We are going to be transforming dollar store pumpkins into beautiful vintage glam pumpkins. Well, that's what I'm saying they are. I hope that you enjoyed this video. As always, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post a new video, and let's just get into it. First, we're going to do the velvet pumpkin. So we are going to need our pumpkin, a stem of your choice, optional spray paint to paint that, and of course velvet fabric. My velvet fabric is from Hobby Lobby. I got it for $2 because I only got a 1/4 of a yard. And we're going to start with our pumpkin, removing the pumpkin stem and using our X-Acto knife or maybe a pumpkin carving knife, because these aren't meant to be carved anyways. We're going to cut a hole at the top, whether it be a square or a circle, it won't matter. I cut mine into a square, reason being, I don't know. Then we're going to take our fabric. This fabric I did cut to about 12 by 14 inches. I think a square foot should be okay as well. And all you're going to do is place it in the middle, and using the hole that we carved, we're going to stuff all of the sides of the fabric in here. And this is perfect because you will not use any glue or anything. And once you're not decorating with a color of velvet that you do, you can simply just pull it out and reuse this pumpkin for any fabric of your choice. It's that easy. Because it's just tucked in there, you can remove it if it doesn't look right, if it's not tucked in properly. You can kind of make the grooves look like you please. Now I am showing you this pumpkin because this is the stem that I am using as my pumpkin stem, but I actually took it off of this one and I'm going to spray paint it in gold, and I love this finish. It gives it more of a glam look that I was going for. And there it is, super easy, super fast. I made 2. I think you can actually make 3, but I only had 2 of these beautiful stems that I spray painted. And as you can see, it doesn't fall off. It does become a little loose, but it's just as easy to tuck it back in. And there you have it. I hope that you like this one. I think this one is my personal favorite. Here I'm showing it how I have it styled on my coffee table. Not sure if I'm gonna leave it this way, but so far I'm loving it. Let me know what you think of this pumpkin down below. And for our second pumpkin, the one I'm actually calling Vintage Glam, of course we're going to need our pumpkin, some book pages, some crystal or acrylic knobs. I got mine from Walmart for under $5, scissors, a sponge for your Mod Podge, and an X-Acto knife. First of all, we're going to start with the pumpkin, removing the stem, and then we are going to use our X-Acto knife to give it more defined grooves so that we kind of take away the dollar store look from it. First, what I'm doing is I'm going to score where I want my grooves to be deepened, and obviously I'm following the same lines as the groove, and there you can see kind of the pattern that I'm doing. The first time, again, we're just going straight into score. The second time, we're going to follow our same lines and we're going to go in diagonally. That way we're actually kind of like slicing it, and you're going to cut in the shape kind of like what you would cut out of a watermelon, which is kind of like a little diamond slice out of it. I hope that makes sense. But the second time we go in, when we go deeper, it is going to actually pull it out, and you're going to see here how easy it comes off. See, all you have to do is pull it up, and the wider that you do it, the wider obviously that your grooves will be. So I played with different sizes for each and every groove. I didn't make them all the same. I'm going to do it again just so that you can see. Again, we're scoring first where we are going to want our cut line to be, straight in, and then the second time we go back in, we're actually going in deeper and at an angle. And you see how easy it was to just remove all of that. Here's our thicker groove and then our thinner groove. Now all we're going to do is we're going to pinch in at the sides of the grooves, because when we do, it'll give it this more round edge instead of a really square and jagged edge as we have here at the top. So I'm going to do the same to both of these other sides so that you can see it next to each other. You'll see how nice and defined these grooves look in comparison to these that have, again, the very straight lines. I'm going to do it all over the pumpkin, and this is what it looks like once we're done. It doesn't take that long. I guess the pinching is what's most time consuming because you want to get it right. And then we're going to use our book pages. We're going to rip them off of our books, and then I only want the words, so I'm going to cut all of this like negative space off of it, and then I'm going to cut it in half. And I don't show you this, but actually cut it into fourths because that's what works best. Learn from my mistakes. Of course, we're going to use Mod Podge to adhere all of these book pages onto it. I did learn this trick off of Pinterest or somewhere, that if you wet whatever you are going to Mod Podge with, it makes it easier to maneuver. Didn't work out, but I want to show you. I guess it only works out with like tissue paper and napkins, not with like stiffer pieces of paper like book pages. So supposedly if you wet it, it just makes it easier to maneuver onto whatever you are adhering it to. I hope that makes sense again, but I'm going to show you here how that is not the case. Obviously we're going to start Mod Podge like we always do, which we add our first layer of Mod Podge to like our base item, which is the pumpkin, and then we're going to wet the book page as those instructions said, and it's supposed to make it more maneuverable, but as you can see they still have the same, and when you bend it, the wet one stays the same. If you bend the other one, you get actual fold on it, and we do need that because we need it to settle in to the grooves. And as you can see here, it's sticking, but not really well because it's wet, and then the edges aren't forming. I thought maybe it's because it needs the second layer of Mod Podge on top, and you'll see that again it still doesn't work. See, I'm pinching down and it's not sticking to the sides, and it's not creating those little pleats which will make it keep the shape of the pumpkin. So I scrapped that all together, go back to the book pages, and you'll see how nicely it'll fold over in the top and bottom, and then how it'll really mark my grooves really nicely. See, much better already. So I scrapped the water thing altogether. It doesn't work, at least not with book pages, so I wanted to show you that. I always like to show what I do wrong so that you guys don't have to make the same mistakes I did. You just saw me make them, so don't even try it. I'm going to do this to the rest of the pumpkin. I'm going to go in with the book pages, Mod Podge on the pumpkin, put the page, Mod Podge on top, and of course bend in and fold any edges or grooves that need to be so that it really takes the shape of our pumpkin. So this is where I found out that it is easier if you cut the strips in half so that they are even thinner. They are going to be easier to work around the grooves rather than the thicker ones, because we really want them to fold and give it its really good pumpkin shape, or else it kind of takes back what we did with making the grooves deeper and more noticeable. So all I'm doing is I'm using one of the thin strips inside of the groove, and that makes it so that I'll just be able to work around it and not have to cover it. And I am also doing a lot with my fingers. So with my fingers, I am pushing in and then I'm pushing up at the sides. So that again, it really takes the shape of the pumpkin. So now when you add your other pieces of the book pages, you'll still be able to have that really defined look on the grooves, which is ultimately what we want. Now on my pumpkin, you'll notice here that you can see some of the orange peeking through the book pages. That's fine by me. There were some areas that I did go back and do a second piece on top of the already existing book pages, just wherever I thought it maybe was too much, but it's not necessary. It fully depends on what you're doing. If you are already doing orange in your decor, I think that looks really neat that it still looks kind of orange. Or of course you can always paint it before or after you do the grooves. That way when you put the book pages on top, you won't be able to see any of the orange. All of those steps are optional. For me, it would have been a waste of time, honestly. So I'm just gonna go with it. I don't mind it. And here it is all dry. I did leave it to dry overnight just to make sure it was 100% dry. I love the way it looks, by the way. And we're going to take our knobs, and mine came with the screws separate. It kind of depends on what you're going to do, if you're going to add it or not. You can just glue it to the top. I recommend E6000, not hot glue. Then I'm going to just make an indentation at the top first with the knob, just so that I know where to cut. So I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to cut at an X, and I'm going to cut that way so that I can have the smallest hole possible, because I want to be able to reuse both the knob and the pumpkin. So I'm just inserting the knob in there, and I prefer it this way. And as you can see, it doesn't fall off. It comes a little loose, but not that much, because we made that hole really small to begin with. And there it is. I absolutely love this one. Both of these pumpkins are meant for my actual decor that I'm doing this year. I styled this one here on this shelf, and I absolutely love it. Now, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure that you do like this video, comment on it, share it with friends and family. That really helps my channel to grow. And as always, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time that I post a new video. And I truly appreciate every single one of you watching. Thank you, and have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.